Good morning, or perhaps a good afternoon to you. My name is Mark, and I would like to welcome you to this webinar, which is titled 5 Things to Consider During a Customer Journey. It's going to be presented by my colleague Thijs. So, good morning, Thijs.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you very much. To our audience, if they have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat, and then we can answer them after the presentation. A customer journey, 5 things to consider when stepping into Retort automation. This is based on sales experience, which we guide our clients to their factory in automation. What can be reasons for stepping into automation? There can be various reasons for clients. Things we often see is that they cannot keep up with the filler, higher speeds, or a shortage of personnel. So when stepping into automation, you need less personnel for the handling of your products. The next step could be working multiple shifts. So instead of working 1 shift a day, you can even work 2 or even 3 24-hour per day production. With automation, this is all more easy. Recently COVID, of course, is an actual topic.
Sure.
We even know of clients who closed factories because of shortage of personnel, because of COVID. And getting better efficiency that can be achieved with automation, of course. So these could be topics. Of course, it varies per client or what their reason is, but these are common topics we see when people want or step into automation.
Understand, yeah.
Well, of course, for us, which product do we need to handle? Every client has their own product. All these products are being sterilized in retorts. So you can see that we do cans, we do glass jars, we do semi-rigids and pouches. But you can also see the variety of sizes, of shapes. So with a can, it can be made out of steel or aluminium. Glass jars in different shapes, semi-rigids, and pouches. So with a spouted pouch, gusset pouch, size changes.
Yeah, very nice. So I noticed these are all food products. Is it human food, pet food? Does Lan also do other type of products?
We are also involved in the pharma industry. So products, you could think of IV bags, which are being sterilized in retorts. But the thing that these products have in common is that they're all being sterilized in retort systems, so batch retort systems.
And the other word for retort is autoclave also sometimes, if
That's
I'm
right.
not correct.
Autoclave or retort is the same device, machine.
Yeah.
So this is a true story. It's a client journey. So with this, I will show by example how the process works and where the client is in this picture, and how we see the client and how we guide the client towards a fully automated line, possibly. Well, first we start with the question: have you thought of your production flow? And clients ask, what do you mean with production flow? Well, often there is an empty space or an empty building, and then all equipment needs to fit in. So I ask the client, think in big blocks, like where do you put your loading area, where do you put your retorts area or your unloading area. These areas are often connected with the loading area, for instance, to your packaging or to your kitchen. And the kitchen is connected to the loading area. Retorts area is connected to utilities like steam and electricity and power. Put them somewhere in this room. Unloading area is often connected to your packaging. So with this you can play with your flow of products. Will it come from here to there? Or let's move all the way around. A lot of things are possible, but these are the main areas to consider for retort handling.
So this is the first main step in trying to configure a logical layout.
That's true. Yeah, correct. Yes.
All right.
First thing often is that the clients, they come to us and they know roughly what they would like to sell, or the quantities they're aiming for, or the volume they want to sell, and they translate that into a filler. So a filler needs to have a certain capacity. There are a variety of fillers or seamers. What is one of the most important questions is, of course, what is the filler speed? Because we need to adjust our loading robot or unloading robot to the speed of the filler. In this example, the filler does 125 products per minute, and you have 2 rotary fillers.
So the filler, to just get it right, it puts the naked product into a package, which could be a pouch or a can. Or a jar.
Correct. So the product will be closed, and when it's closed, it will arrive at our robots, at our loading area. So we just put 2 rotary fillers into the loading area, and then what do we connect next to it? It's depending on some questions, like is the client going to produce various flavors or various sizes. In this occasion, or this example, the client says, well, yeah, we want to do two sizes or two flavors, same size and two flavors simultaneously. Perhaps
and flavors means ingredients are different, or
yeah.
what can it be?
You could think of one's flavor is chicken and the other one is pork or fish.
Understand.
Yeah. When you have two flavors and you produce them simultaneously, the waiting time is also important for your product.
Waiting time?
Yes, with waiting time we mean that the product has been filled and within a certain time it has to be cooked. If that waits too long, the product might expand and it's not sellable anymore.
So you mean in that time you have perhaps the risk of bacteria which start to grow?
Correct. You have bacterial growth when the product is sealed or closed, and within a set time that product needs to be sterilized.
Understand.
We cannot wait too long, so when you have two flavors it could mean, depending on the retort capacity, that the waiting time gets too long, or you need to mix two flavors into the same retort. That's not always possible. When I ask this question, the client says, well, perhaps it's better if we do one flavor per time, and then next day or next week we produce a second flavor to avoid this. Here you will see that, so what we added now to the layout is that we have one formation table and one loading robot loading the products into trays. At the end you will see a semi-automatic solution, so the manual loading of the retorts done by trolleys. So the trays will go on a trolley, so you will have a bit smaller trays and the manual loading of the retorts.
So this is where the manual activity takes place.
That's called the trolley station. So the trolley is placed over there, and then the trays will be placed onto the trolley, and then the trolley can move around throughout the factory manually. So what about your carrier? Clients sometimes already have experience in production. They might already have a retort tray, or they might already have a basket which they use. Here you see some examples. Not every basket or tray is suitable for automation. In this first example you see a basket where the products are unstructured. Here you can see some trays which are going into a kind of a cart where you need to pull out the tray. This is not favorable when using robots. Also, products are not fixed in the tray, so after sterilization process they might lose their position, and then you cannot unload them anymore or grab them anymore by robot. So these are challenges we see with startup clients, and which we can also advise them to do differently. So
the carrier is the element that collects the product. True. And which goes then into the retort.
Yes, so that's, yeah.
Okay.
In this example you will see that we are using the same retort tray, and that tray is being used for two or more products. So you see smaller pouches but also bigger pouches. The tray has channels, so the product will remain in those channels during the sterilization process.
And that staying in position, why is there a risk that they lose position in the retort? What could be the reason?
Sometimes retorts are, the products get rotated or agitated, or sometimes the retort process you have cascading water, and then if you have very light or small products, they might float in the tray.
Ah, yeah, I understand. You don't want that. No.
No, so it's important that they keep position, otherwise you cannot grab them with a robot or vacuum anymore afterwards. Next to that, the retort or the tray should also be handled by a robot. And what people don't always realize is that we need to grab the tray a couple of times, as you can see on this video. So first the robot grabs the tray, it puts it on the tray tilter, make sure the tray is always emptied, and then it goes to the next position. This is during the commissioning of this line, so without products, but you can see the tray is handled multiple times by the robot or the gripper at various positions. So not every tray is suitable for automation.
I also noticed that there's a lot of trays, and they seem to be of stainless steel, so this is a part of an investment, I assume.
True, it's an investment. If the client needs any advice or help from in the design for this tray, we can help the client, often together with the retort manufacturer, because the tray design is also has an impact on the sterilization.
Of course, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about your retorts? You have retorts in various sizes and options, and it's good to think about all the options at getting to the right retort choice. You can have retort with 1 or with 2 doors, so the number of doors is important. The loading height, when you start with semi-automatic, the loading height is often is low. But if you consider moving into a shuttle or automatic system in the future, you would like to increase this height to a certain loading.
So the loading height is the same as the transportation height of all the products in their carriers?
Yes, so for a fully automated line, this is right. Our loading height for a shuttle system is 650 mm. When you do manually loading, it's often lower. So should you consider a shuttle system in the future, it's good to make some preparations either on the retort, so you can hire it later on, or that you use higher trolleys, for example.
Understand.
Yeah.
650 mm.
Correct.
Okay.
Next thing, automatic doors. When moving into fully automated line, of course the door of the retort should automatically open. If you start with semi-automatic, you can prepare your retorts already, so it can be added later on. But this is something you need to consider in the first step of when buying retorts. Or when
Good to know. Yeah.
Yeah. Last question is, does a retort have any transport systems inside? You could think of a dock chain device or rollers which are already there. Some might be required for semi-automatic. Stepping into a shuttle system, everything can be removed because the shuttle takes over these functionalities.
A transport system inside the retort.
Yeah.
This is an environment where there's pressure and temperature and
Yeah.
How is that with maintenance?
Yeah, that's true. So in the example of a dock chain solution, you have a chain running into your retort that needs to be maintained. Of course, a retort is an enclosed environment. It's a bit difficult to get in and out. So this is something we can avoid using a shuttle system, as all the moving parts will be on the shuttle itself, and you don't have any moving parts within the retort. So for maintenance purposes, a shuttle system is preferred.
Great.
In this example, the customer chooses to have two doors on his retort. The main reason is that he has his unsterilized products on the left of his factory and the sterilized products on the right. So also for safety purposes, avoiding that unsterilized products can reach the case packer.
So here it was really a flow from this side to that side.
Yes.
Can it be that you also use one door?
That's most common, I would say. So that's also possible, yeah.
But this is the true story.
This is the true story. This is what the client asked me to do.
In this case, I understand.
Yeah. What about your packaging? Or packaging, you might think, well, it's when we unload from a retort tray, you should think what follows next. You can imagine if the case packer is directly to the unloader, products are still wet when they come out of the retorts. So you should think of what to do with drying. If the products go directly to the case packer or to a labeling, you will find that there's still water on the product, so you need to dry it. A carton box is not in favor of water there, so the product should be totally dry when going to the case packer.
Yeah, I can imagine that, because nowadays if you go to a supermarket you see already these cases there and you just open them and they come, I assume, directly from this case packer that is in the factory.
True, yeah. So that's actually happening. Next to that, variety pack is upcoming, we see more and more. Upcoming question, a variety pack, what does it mean? Well, we load multiple flavors into one box. You will see that they produce them on forehand, so they produce each flavor separately, where each flavor is going to a warehouse.
Okay, so they're in the storage.
In a storage, so should the product go to a storage tray or a storage carrier, we need to think of it at the beginning. After storage, products come back, we take them from the temporary storage, temporary tray, and they are simultaneously loaded into the case packer.
Yeah, and I can imagine that if they go into storage, then that they are dry is also very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it all comes together. In this case, we unload the products and they will directly go to a case packer. So you will see that there is a dryer before the single liner going to the case packer.
So you integrate a dryer in your unloading section.
That's true. So that's one of our in-house developments. We pick the products from the retort tray. We don't lose position, and we place them on the inline, so we exactly know where the product is. the position, and we even can count the products when going through the dryer before going into packaging.
So the dryer doesn't really influence the footprint of the unloader?
No, it's a very small footprint. It's also low noise and really low power consumption compared to other tunnel dryers you often see in Retort.
Interesting,
yeah. Next question is, what about your future? Because this was the first question the client asked me. But when I asked about the future, he said, well, likely within the next couple of years we will invest in some more equipment. I said, well, how will that look like? You could think of adding more fillers into your plant, or perhaps different products to be added. When you have pouches, adding cans or adding semi-rigids.
Semi-rigid?
Semi-rigids, you could think of aluminium trays or plastic cups or bowls.
Ah, yeah, the one with the
easy lid.
The easy lid, yes.
Correct. Running higher capacities or multiple shifts with the equipment already been present. Yeah. In this example, the client indicated that in the future we will add 2 more fillers. This means we double the retort capacity and another unloader would be there.
So, so now the factory is almost full.
Factory is getting full, correct. But it's also made us think, is there something we can improve or advise the client better with? So the next question is, what about full automation? When you have semi-automatic, you think of small trays being lightweight. When you think of full automation, you can easily work with bigger trays because the weight is not longer important. A bigger tray means more product per tray. So we can do more with our robots, more products per robot.
And why is it no longer important? Because the robot is taking care of it now.
Yes, so the robot can do an X number of picks and places per minute, and even if the tray is getting bigger, the picks and places remain the same. So it can do a higher volume with a bigger tray. A shuttle system. So with a shuttle system, the loading and unloading of the retorts is being done automatically, improving on safety. The retort area is often a wet area, so no people there, so no slippery danger. And also with the shuttle system and our software, we make sure that we can guarantee 100% food safety, so no unsterilized product can reach the packaging.
Oh, that's nice to have.
Yeah.
No dead dogs or dead people or sick people. Let's be
True.
careful.
Well, it's difficult to see from the outside if a product has been sterilized correctly, yes or no.
Yeah.
And we avoid this risk with the shuttle system.
Okay. I was just thinking about the bigger trays. That will have an impact on my retorts as well, I suppose.
That's true. So in fact, you will require less number of retorts, although they will be bigger. So you will have more products per retort and likely have a bit longer cycle time. But on the other hand, less retorts and less robots. A shuttle system also means less operators. When you have a fully automated line, you can run such a line with 1 or 2 operators only. The savings you do with the operators, you might do multiple shifts. So instead of running 1 shift a day, you can do 24-hour production. So this is the alternative solution. Here you can see that we have the same amount of fillers. We have 1 loading robot only, because of the bigger tray can still run this capacity. He still has the flexibility of having 2 flavors. You can see that there's less retorts required. A shuttle system to load and unload the retorts, and with 1 unloader only, going to 1 packaging only. So
if I understand correctly, before we had the picture with 4 retorts, also 4 fillers, so that remains the same, but also more unloaders.
Yes.
And this can do the same thing.
Yeah, capacity-wise, it's doing the same. Even you have the flexibility to do a phased approach, so the client can still start with 2 fillers only, and then later on add 2 more fillers, connecting to the same loader.
So I have less equipment, less operators, less floor space.
And even a lower investment compared to the semi-automatic final picture. So more value for money in this.
More value for money, okay.
Correct. So 5 things to consider, stepping into retort automation. Think about your flavors and sizes before you start. Bigger trays means less robots, so the bigger the tray, the less investment you will have with your robots at the loading and unloading side. Should you think of full automation, prepare your retorts from the beginning, because it's quite difficult to add or modify later on. Think about the end picture, so think about any future expansion, future projects from the beginning, and then remove to where you would like to start with. And the last thing is, semi-automatic doesn't always mean lowering cost. Sometimes a fully automated line It's more cost efficient than semi-automatic.
Well, if I understand correctly, we would like to discuss and be together with the customer to find out the answers to these 5 questions before we start really making quotations, proposals. So there's a bit of more effort in the front.
True. There's a lot of questions to be asked in the beginning to get a clear picture on what the clients actually want and where he wants to go through, and then we can advise the client best. So
And then you give him the best solution. Yeah.
hopefully, yes.
Okay. Well, great, Thijs. Thank you very much. It was a very interesting story.
You're welcome.
So if there are any more questions, you can always contact us at info@lanhandling.com. Thank you for your attention and have a very nice day.